Hi students, in this chapter we are going to learn about motion. In our physics, if you are connecting all the concepts to your daily life, that means if you are finding examples from the nature, you can get the concepts very easily. Can we start this lesson? So if you are observing your surroundings, you can see some objects are moving and some objects are not moving there. So you can see two states in your surroundings. First one we can say that is rest. Rest means you know here the object is not moving. Second one motion, state of motion. Here the object is moving. If an object is changing its position, we can say that object is in motion. So simply we can say this motion as movement. Movement you know. Always we can see some moving objects surrounding us. So two states here, state of rest and state of motion. State of rest means the object, the position of the object is not changing there. The position, that object is not moving. Here in case of this motion, the object is moving, that is changing its position. So we can call this as movement. Then how can we define this motion? A body is said to be in motion when its position changes continuously with respect to another object. Then we can say that object is moving. Simply I can give some examples. If you are sitting in a room, that time you are taking rest. If your mother is calling you, or you are going to some other rooms for taking your books or any other things, that time you are moving. So motion means here the object is changing its position. In our surroundings we can see different types of motions there. Some examples are given here: linear motion, circular motion, rotation, vibration, oscillation, etc. You know linear motion. In this chapter we are going to learn about this linear motion. Some more things also we study about the circular motion also. For describing motion of an object, we need some other objects also. Then only we can say that object is moving. Here you can see, here on building there, that I am considering as your home, that you have to imagine like that. And here you can see school in east direction 2 kilometer away from your home. Here railway station 1 kilometer away from your home. Here park in west direction, that is 3 kilometer away from your home. So here I am repeating the word home, 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 from your home, from your home, from your home, like that. That means here your home is the reference point. By using this only we can say about the school, how much kilometer away from your home, railway station, how much kilometer away from your home, how much kilometer is the park away from your home, and the directions also you can see in this figure. So from this we can conclude here we are taking this home as the reference point. For locating the other places we can use this as reference point. So like that, if you are moving from your home, you are going to your school. So your home is the reference point for you. From here only you are going to school. Here you can see one another example. You can see a tree there and one car is moving towards the tree, and after some times that car is moving. So after some seconds you can see that car is at the other side of the tree. So from this we can say this tree is the reference point. So here you can see one definition for this reference point. A reference point is a place or object used for comparison to determine something is in motion. So we can call that reference point as origin. Origin, you know, here you can see a point from which an object starts moving. This word you heard earlier. From that maps you know For drawing that graph, you need two axes, x-axis and y-axis. Here you can see these two axes are intersecting at a point, and that point we can call as origin. So for drawing the graph, or in that number line you are considering also, you can see from this origin, from this O or origin, you can see towards that side means positive numbers and towards left side means negative numbers. Like that, here we can say this is the origin or this is the reference point here. So here how can we define that origin in our physics? Means a point from which an object starts moving. So you know, for describing the motion of an object we need a reference point. Here we can call that reference point as origin. Going to learn about the linear motion I told you. So what do you mean by linear motion? If an object is moving along a straight line, we can call this as linear motion. If an object is moving along a circle, we can call that as circular motion. So before going to this linear motion, you have to know about some other terms. Here you can see physical quantity is written there. In our physics we are using so many quantities. What do you mean by physical quantity? If we can measure a quantity, then we can call that as physical quantity. Here you can see two groups here. Physical quantities are classified into two: scalar quantities and vector quantities. What do you mean by scalar quantity? The quantities which have only magnitude are called scalar quantity. Do you know what is magnitude? Last year you studied, for expressing a physical quantity you need a magnitude and a unit. What do you mean by magnitude? Here you can see time is written there, 60 seconds. Here you can see this 60. In this you can see a numerical value, a number you can see in this, and we can call this number as magnitude, and this, yes, you know, that is second, that is the unit. So for expressing a physical quantity you need a magnitude and a unit. But what is the scalar quantity? The quantities which have only magnitude, they are called scalar quantities. Here you can see examples: time, distance, energy. For all these quantities, that quantities we can express in a number and unit also there, but we don't want direction. Time, if you are saying the time, we will never use the word direction towards this direction and that direction, we are not using that. Then coming to this vector quantities, here you can see both magnitude and direction. So the quantities which have both magnitude and direction, we can call them as vector quantities. Here you can see two examples: force and displacement. Now I am not going to displacement, you will study from this chapter, but this force, you know, last year in 8th standard you studied. If you are applying force in one direction, the object will move towards that direction. Last year you studied the definition as push or pull. So there you are specifying the direction. So vector quantity means there you have to specify direction also. For expressing these quantities, scalar and vector quantities, you need a unit. Then along with that, here you have to specify direction also. In case of scalar quantity, only magnitude. In case of vector quantities, both magnitude and direction. Now come to the topic. Here you can see path length. From this word you can write what is that. Here path length means length of the path. If an object is moving from one place to another place, that needs a path. If you are measuring the total length of the path of that object, we can call that as path length. Then I am going to say about two terms, that they are distance and displacement. For a common man, these two terms are same, distance and displacement. But in our physics, some differences there. We can see what is that. Here you can see 2 points A and B, or you can consider two places or two positions. A is the initial position and B is the final position. If one person is moving from A to B along this path, here you can see a straight line between this A and B. Here on another person coming and from A to B, he is going through this path. Like that on another person, he is using this path. Another one, he is using this path. Here you can see initial position A and the final position is B for all these persons, but that paths, they have chosen different paths there for moving from A to B. If you are measuring this length, here you can say this is the distance travelled by this person. I am going to take this as person 1. This is the distance travelled by that person 1. Here this is the, if you are measuring this length is the distance travelled by the second person, and this is the path length of that third person, and this is the path length of that fourth person. Here you can see initial position A and final position B, but the paths are different. If you are comparing these 4 paths, here you can see only one is the straight line. The person 1 who has chosen this path, that is a straight line. Here you can see, if you are comparing the length of all these paths, from that you can say this is the shortest one. So here the shortest distance is called displacement. Distance, you know, that is the length of the path length and distance both are same. The distance means the length of the path, actual path travelled by a person or an object. Then displacement means the shortest distance between initial position and final position. This is the main difference between this distance and displacement. Here we can say one more difference between this distance and displacement. This distance is a scalar quantity. That means for this distance only magnitude is there. No need to specify direction. But in case of displacement, that is a vector quantity. That means here the direction is very important. You have to specify the direction. Towards which direction, from which point to which point that person or that object is moving. So from this you can say 2 differences for this distance and displacement. First you can say the definition. Distance is the length of the actual path travelled by a body. Then displacement is the shortest distance between initial and final positions. Here you can see a straight line and on arrow also here. That arrow gives us the direction of the motion of that object. Then the next difference, distance is a scalar quantity. For that only magnitude is there, and displacement means both magnitude and direction there. So we can call this as a vector quantity. Then distance and displacement. Here we are saying about the length and we can say its SI unit is meter. It is represented by the letter M. Here you can see one example. From that I am going to explain how to find the distance and displacement. Here you can see A is here. From this A 100 meters away on another point B. Then from B 50 meters away C you can see. That means the distance between A and C is 150 meter. Now you have to consider an object is moving from A to B. It is starting from A and going to B. A is the initial position and B is the final position. Here we can say distance is 100 meter and displacement also 100 meters. Then another path. That object is starting from A and then going to C. From there also, no doubt there you can say that AC is the distance and the same is the displacement. Why means here that object is moving along a straight line. So in this case, from A to C also distance is 100 plus 50, that is 150 meter, and displacement also 150 meter. Then If the object is starting from A, then going to C through the point B and again coming back to B, then what is the distance? How can you say that distance there? The distance is equal to AC plus CB. How is that? That is starting from A, moving to C through this point B. The total distance from A to C, that is 100 plus 50, 150 meter. That 150 plus, again that object is moving through this much distance. So, from that you can write 50. So, total 200 meters. This is the distance travelled by that object from A to C, then back to B. Then what about the displacement? You know the displacement. The displacement is the shortest distance between initial position and final position. Now that object starts from A and after that movement that is at B. So here A is the initial position and B is the final position. So here you can see this is the shortest distance between A and B. So from that you can write this as 100 meters. Then that object is moving to C, then coming back to A. Then what will happen? Then the distance is equal to A to C, then C to A. That means 150 plus 150, that is equal to 300 meters. Then what about the displacement? Displacement A to C, then coming back to A. Here this is very important. Here you can see initial and final positions are same. So here any displacement there? No. Here the displacement is 0. One more thing I can say here, from A to C displacement, you know that is a vector quantity. Here we can specify the direction. So from A to C means we can take that as plus 150 and again the direction is changing, that is coming from C to A. So here the direction is changing, then that will be minus 150 and the first one plus 150. Here also you will get 0. For you this one enough. If the initial and final positions are coinciding or both are same, then you can say the displacement is 0. From this you have to understand distance means that will never be 0. If an object is moving from one place to another place, that is changing the position. That means that should move from one place to another place, means some distance should be there and there should be a value. Distance will not be 0 or negative. That will always be a positive value, distance. But in case of displacement, this displacement can be positive, negative or 0. This distance will not be 0, but this displacement can be 0 when if the initial and final positions are coinciding or both are same, we can say the displacement will be 0.